Hi guys and girls, today we're going to learn how to solve quadratic equations using factorization. Once again, I'd like to remind you that there are 4 types of factorization. Okay, common factor factorization, quadratic factorization, special algebraic identity factorization where a squared minus b squared equals to a plus b, a minus b, and lastly we have grouping. Now in quadratic factorization, in most cases, it will be the first tree, and grouping is seldom used, but there are questions that I've seen that will test this. Okay, so if you have problems on factorization, you shouldn't even be doing this topic on solving quadratic equations. So you can refer back to my first video on how to factorize quadratic expressions. Now, moving on, let's move to the first example on how to solve quadratic equations. So you can see x squared plus 3x minus 28 equals to 0. Okay, so first thing I have to do is to ask myself, what type of factorization am I using? Remember, we have 4 types of factorization. And when I look at this equation here, x squared, x, and a constant is definitely using quadratic factorization. So what I would do is draw out my box. So this number, this variable goes into here, and this negative 28 goes into here. Now, what times what will give me x squared? X times x. And now I have to think, what times what gives me 28? So perhaps it's 14 times 2, and it's 7 times 4. Okay, now keeping in mind that it is a negative 28, so it has to be a positive number times a negative number. So one of them must be negative. Now, looking at this, it has to be 7 and 4. I get a 7 times x is a 7x here. And x times 4 gives me a 4x here. Now, remember again that I have to add these two up, right? But right now, I have to put a negative on one of them. Now, the answer is 3x here. So I guess I have to put a minus here and a minus here. So 7x minus 4x, when you add these two up, you get 3x. And this answer has to be the same as this middle term here. And it is correct. So right now, x plus 7, x minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, now, to finish off this question, we have to understand something called the zero product rule, whereby if something times something equals to 0, that means a number times a number equals to 0, one of these numbers has to be equals to 0. Okay, so this is a key concept in solving quadratic equations. So again, now, if x plus 7 times x minus 4 equals to 0, then by the zero product rule, x plus 7 equals to 0, or x minus 4 equals to 0. And therefore, I can solve it as x equals to minus 7 or x equals to 4. And most quadratic equations will have 2 answers. Well, sometimes they have 1 answer only, but that depends, okay? So this is the first example. Let's move on to the second example. Now, looking at example 2, again, I have to determine what type of factorization am I using here. Okay, it looks to me like it is common factor factorization. So what's a common factor? You have 2x, but in this case, it doesn't even matter for the coefficient. I can just simply say x is the common factor. 2x minus 12 equals to 0. Okay, and again, I'm going to use the zero product rule, whereby this times this equals to 0. So simply x equals to 0, or 2x minus 12 equals to 0. Now I've already solved this, so it's done. Now let's solve this. And x equals to 12 over 2, which is 6. All right, so simple concept. Now let's move on to the third example. 4x squared minus 25 equals to 0. Now again, I have to decide what type of factorization am I using. Okay. Now notice that 4 and 25 are perfect squares. Okay. This reminds me of the identity. A squared minus b squared. And when you factorize this, you get a plus b, a minus b. Okay, right now it's not in the a square minus b square format yet. This is not in a square format, and this power 2 is only for the x, not for the 4. So all I have to do is square root the 4, I get a 2, and now I can put the whole thing as square. Now it's a square minus b square equals to 0. Now let's follow this identity here. So if a square minus b square equals to 0, simply a plus b, a minus b equals to 0. So again, by the zero product rule, 2x plus 5 equals to 0, or 2x minus 5 equals to 0. So 2x equals to minus 5, x equals to negative 5 over 2. On this side, 2x equals to 5, x equals to positive 5 over 2. And there you go, I got my answer. So let's move on to the fourth example. 4x squared equals to 21. Now it looks weird. I don't have a 0 on the right side. So all I have to do is simply move the 121 to the left. Remember to change your sign. So again, 4, 1, 2, 1, these are perfect squares. So it looks to me like it's a squared minus b squared again. So square root the 4, I get 2x bracket square minus 121, square root of 121 is 11. So now I get a squared minus b squared equals to 0. A plus b, a minus b equals to 0. Now again, we use zero product rule where this times this equals to 0. And therefore, one of them must be 0. That's why we put or. One of them must be 0, not both of them. So it's or. 2x minus 11 equals to 0. So 2x equals to negative 11. X equals to negative 11 over 2. And on the other side, 2x equals to 11. X equals to positive 11 over 2. All right. So remember to always make the right side 0 so that you can make use of the zero product rule. Now, this is really important, especially in the next example. So looking at example 5, you can see 2x minus 1 times x minus 3 equals to 7. Now, a beginner might say this, 2x minus 1 equals to 7, or x minus 3 equals to 7. But is this the zero product rule? No. Okay, if, for example, a times b equals to 7, am I going to say, or maybe let's use another number, a times b equals to 20. Can I say a equals to 20 or b equals to 20? Not necessarily. A can be 5, b can be 4. A can be 10, b can be 2. 10 times 2 equals to 20. So it is not right to do this. All right? We have to make use of the zero product rule. So what do we do then? We can only expand this to this. So expand and simplify it first. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. You have minus x. And you have negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. Now this 7 over here, I'm going to move it to the left so that I get a 0 here. So now I simplify this as 2x squared minus 7x minus 4 equals to 0. Okay, now what does this look like? What type of factorization is this? It looks like quadratic factorization, right? So again, I do this out. 2x squared negative 4. So 2x times x will give me 2x squared. Okay, now what can I get with 4? 4 times 1, 2 times 2. Okay, so probably I'm going to put a 4 here and a 1 here. Okay, I get a 2x times 4 is 8x. 1 times x is x. But I'm supposed to get a negative 7x. And don't forget, negative 4 is a positive number times a negative number. So one of them now has to be negative. And where do I put that? I guess it's here, because x minus 8x will give me minus 7x. So here too. So when I factorize it, it should be 2x plus 1, x minus 4 equals to 0. Once again, we are back to the zero product rule. 2x plus 1 equals to 0, or x minus 4 equals to 0. And let's solve it. 2x equals to negative 1, x equals to negative half. And here, x equals to 4. Okay, so some key points to note is that when you're solving a quadratic equation, you must ask yourself, which factorization am I supposed to use? Is it common factor factorization? Is it quadratic factorization? Is it special algebraic identity, or is it grouping? Okay, and please understand that you have to make the right side of the equal sign 0 so that you can make use of the zero product rule. All right, now, if you have found this video useful, please give me a like and subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to get this channel out to as many students as possible so they can get the help they need in mathematics. Thank you.